It's 10 p.m. Friday, October 14th. And I'm doing this video regarding some current events going on right now. See, that's why I say I'm not psychic, but I do pay attention to behavior patterns. And see, I made a video like a year ago talking about here's what you're getting for your black vote. On my other site, YouTube Crystal Clear Eyes. It was YouTube Crystal Clear Eyes breaks it down. Here's what you're getting for your black vote. And it was talking about how all they ever offer black people is the same bullshit. It's like they got a whole bullshit behavior pattern that they go to when it's time, election time. You know, they roll out all of these celebrities, media, politicians, everybody, and they got all of a sudden they tell black people who they need to vote for, and you're not black if you don't vote, blah, 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 bullshit. And as though black people don't have their own mind to think for themselves. And see, the thing is, they treat black people like, like we're their particular, I guess, like their children or something, that they're going to tell us who to vote for. And then after they do their bullshit, where they come and they do all these ads that these people fall for with the emotional manipulation, the semantics, the subliminal advertising, all kind of shit, where they basically pander to whatever the problems are in the black community. They're very concerned about them in their advertising and in their rhetoric when they're trying to get reelected or elected. After that, once they get elected, it goes out the window. They're not concerned anymore. And the only results they give black people are symbolic bullshit. Like changing the names of streets, pulling down statues, changing the names on pancake syrup and pancakes and other assorted dumb shit. Like, oh, we'll put Harriet Tubman's face on a $20 bill. Symbolic bullshit. They never give black people tangible actual financial gains or anything that can help you get ahead in terms of owning property or increasing your finances substantially, because they want you to work in their businesses. They don't want you to open your own. They want you to be their permanent servant class, and if not, they'll import people who will. You understand what I'm saying? And promise you at any and everything to get elected. They'll roll out whoever to keep the status quo going. That's how you can tell who's down with the system and the status quo, no matter what they say out their mouth. Because when it's time for election time, they're trying to pressure you to vote for that same status quo system. Like President Biden, who's been getting rich man's welfare in politics for 40-something years now. And then now that he's in office, gives no answers. And y'all chuckleheads are so brainwashed, y'all go for that. Because it's like, y'all seem to forget, y'all don't pay attention to history, but I do. Y'all talk about black people being oppressed, slavery, and this and that. But what y'all forget is there were two different kind of slaves, okay? That's what y'all forget. There were the slaves who their ancestors were dragged. They were dragged in chains from Africa. And they fought tooth and nail to be free. And then there were the ones who they were... For example, they were too difficult and too troublesome, so they would do things like buck breaking, and the white man would, F them, the men, right in front of all of the slaves to break them, psychologically, break them physically, and to teach the other slaves a lesson. This is what happens when you don't do what we tell you to do, okay? And that was so damaging that it continued on for hundreds of years, where they would even teach the women to train the children, don't go against the white man, or that could happen to you too. And so you have two whole different sets of ancestors. You got the ancestors who were trained to be complacent and go along with it because they were scared of the buck breaking, or they were scared of the consequences of running away or learning education and stuff, and they went along with shit. And some of them would even protect massa or inform massa of the difficult slaves, the ones who wanted to get away and learn education. And then you have the ones who were like the descendants of the other slaves, who would fight tooth and nail to educate themselves, be free, and no matter what, they refused to be broken, And so, you understand what I'm saying? You fuckers, that's why I say some of y'all need to stop voting. Because y'all are not thinking. Y'all let other people do your thinking for you. You're not educated. You don't bother to pay attention to history. You don't bother. You just get fed little bits and pieces of whatever the fuck they want to tell you, and you don't know the rest of the story. And you don't try to know it. You don't pay attention to behavior patterns, and, you're just so gullible. I guess maybe because you're uneducated. You don't care about education, or, you just have a whole different set of very complacent, go along with the system, happy at the bottom, like fat roaches at the bottom, values. And if that's what you are, and, that's what your ancestors were, products of the slave breeding farms and the slave breeding programs and the buck breaking programs and stuff like that, then you need to educate yourself, because I'm not. I am the product of the slaves who valued education and freedom and will fight tooth and nail to death to have it no matter what. And that's the difference. See, what makes the difference is education and connections. Education, connections, power. You know, education, power, or connections. Those are the things that make the difference. You know, not just talent. You know, talent only gets you so far. You know, y'all need to educate yourselves. But in the meantime, y'all ain't gonna brainwash me with your bullshit. Now this is the time when they're gonna come running out, all the celebrities, all of the politicians, and all the media to tell y'all brainwash black folks who to vote for and how you're not black if you don't vote for blah 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 bullshit. And you know what I say? Bite me, yo. Go to the videotapes to see what y'all vote in. YouTube, Crystal Clear Eyes, YouTube, Renee Jimenez, YouTube. Now, you ain't gonna brainwash me and tell me motherfucking anything. You better go look up the slave breeding programs and go tell it to the descendants of those back broken, spirit broken, mentally broken, uneducated slaves, because that ain't me.